beast has risen.
I have been looking forward to this one. Yes, it is true. It is time for the Satan Pit and the Impossible Planet, except in the opposite order because I just said them backwards. But yes, it's the two-parter dealing with the Beast from Series 2. This is one of my favorite two-parters. And also I have a nostalgic connection to it because Satan Pit was the first episode of modern era Doctor Who that I ever saw. It's what made me want to watch the show. Now, I actually didn't see it from the beginning. I came in, I don't know, about 15, 20 minutes into it. But I mean, the instant I saw Nude, I was like, ooh, okay, what's going on here? And then I kept watching it. I was hooked. So I've got a real soft spot for this story. But even aside from that hook in and that nostalgia, I do think this is very good. It's wonderfully atmospheric. It's got a terrific supporting cast that has a great dynamic, and everyone feels like a fully fleshed out character. It's got effects that hold up surprisingly well. It is just, just dripping with atmosphere and tension and all this stuff. I really do like the heck out of this. Everyone's giving top-notch performances. It's eerie, it's spooky, the Beast is intimidating. And I will never get tired of coming back and revisiting this. That said, it was funny to go back and watch because what I'm noticing on these rewatches is, and I've mentioned this before, on episodes that I usually don't like, I'm trying to find the stuff that redeems them at least a little. It's something that's like, oh, well, at least it has that, that maybe I'd forgotten or didn't appreciate before. And on the episodes I really like, I can't help but look for, maybe I have rose-tinted glasses on when I think of this. And the story does kind of cheat from time to time in terms of a few things that it does and the way things kind of move forward as it goes along. And what I mean by that is some of the things that are going on offhand. Well, first of all, the resolution to the cliffhanger is lame, as it often is. Like, oh my god, the pit's opening and the planet's going to fall out of orbit, and oh wait, no, the planet's not going to fall out of orbit. And oh look, nothing came out of the pit. So, there's stuff like that. But also beyond that, like the cold open is lame with you going, we must feed. You, if you are hungry, like that's lame. And then there's things like the Doctor gets the TARDIS back. I can accept him finding the TARDIS again. I'm prepared to go with that massive coincidence, even though it is admittedly a massive coincidence. But he then, the TARDIS is able to just fly away from a black hole. And it's not necessarily that I would think that TARDIS is incapable of doing that, but it just seems like way too easy and way too convenient. And it makes his disbelief that a planet was in geosynchronous orbit around a black hole from earlier in the story a little bit disingenuous. Because, but you have a machine that could literally fly circles around a black hole, and you say this planet isn't possible. Wait a minute here. So, there are little things like that I can pick up on and I can spot. And they're kind of across the thing. I said every character is fleshed out. They're actually, I always forget that they exist because they literally only exist to die. Because they're on the security team and, the Ood just kill them in the second thing. So, fair dues, there are two complete fodder characters who I don't even think get named or have any lines apart from just, getting the ball stuck in their head and they go, ah! So, there are little things like that, but man, do I really love this episode. So, now that I've admitted to some of, the little flaws, niggles, nitpicks that kind of exist across the thing, I'm just going to gush for a bit, if you don't mind. So I really enjoy the Doctor's admiration of this group. It's like, human beings, you're amazing, and then at the same time, you're also completely mad. You should get in your rocket and head home. I love that the Doctor never really knows for certain what it is that he encountered here. I like that even at the very end, he won't say what it was. He say, I think we beat it, and that's good enough for me. And I really love the line when confronted with the Beast that he says, I accept that you exist. I don't have to accept what you are, but your physical existence, I'll give you that. So I really enjoy that. I go back and forth on whether or not I sort of consider the seeding, but it takes like 2 years to pay off the idea of the Ood as a slave race. It does seem like it was really kind of left behind for a while, but with how that eventually pays off, I do think that I'm prepared to forgive that particular aspect. I like how three-dimensional all the characters are. The head of security I really like. Oh, one other nitpick I'll say is like I actually feel really bad for him because it was very obvious that they added the muzzle flashes for his gun in post-production. So, like, he didn't have blanks going off. And so he just had to shake the gun. And it's so obvious because he's holding the gun. It's really bad. I feel bad for him that he had to do that. But anyways, he brings a real sense of past damage, which is something that obviously the Beast plays off of. I really like the guy who's playing the captain or the interim captain by default, kind of at that point. I like him. I enjoy his frustration with the situation he's stuck in. I actually really like Ida. I love her sense of needing to know, of needing to face the unknown. I love her dynamic with the Doctor. Danny's a little bit of a snot, but he's also useful and he's still relatable. Toby, I do feel kind of bad for, because he obviously got the raw deal, but also like his scene with the Beast speaking to him, and the voice of the Beast is the same guy who voiced Sutek back in Pyramids of Mars, which is a trivia fact I love. But you've got, Toby sitting there, there's just this voice, don't turn around. If you do and you see me, you will die. And it's just playing off of human nature. Because obviously he's going to look. And it's teasing that out of him. And I really enjoy how that plays, as cheesy as it is. I've talked before about the music in this. There is a wonderful melancholy to it, especially like in the moments like when Toby is outside on the planet's surface, or they see Scooty floating above the living quarters, and it's just there's a real sense of the danger without the score ever having to get bombastic, and I really do appreciate that quite a bit. The Doctor's got some phenomenal moments in this. It's got one of my favorite moments, which is him reaching the end of that cable, looking down and seeing nothing but blackness beneath him, and going, impossible to tell. It could be miles to go yet, or it could be 30 feet. I could survive 30 feet. Like, it's perfect. I love that. And like I said, it's not a flawless episode. There are little things across it that I can pick on and nitpick. And depending on what tends to bug you, I could even understand how things like the things that I mentioned could bother other viewers more. But I really do love this. I love the build. I love the tension. I love the payoff. It works. It works front to back. I love this cast, and it feels like a two-parter that really takes proper advantage of that, of the kind of story you can tell with that amount of time, with the kind of build you can have over that amount of time. And it doesn't overcomplicate the plot. It just lets things marinate in the atmosphere of this world and the setting and this villain. Man, I will never get tired of this. So, The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. What do you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. A whole bunch of stuff you can do because there's buttons and links, including one to the Patreon if you care to check it out, and help support things like the new camera that I'm currently using. And hopefully this looks okay. This is only the second video I'm shooting on this camera. You'll see others come out before this, but hopefully it looks decently. I'll get better at it regardless. But that's the sort of thing that the Patreon funds and helps keep going, and that sort of stuff is absolutely appreciated. But don't want to do that? There's other links to check out besides. I got a P.O. box and a bunch of other stuff. You don't want to look at any of that? That's okay too. Because at the end of the day, folks, you're the council and I just run the meetings. And until next time,
This council is adjourned.